Hi, guys. Today I want to talk to you about surrounding sentences.
Every moment is a teachable moment.
So a lot of times when we get a piece of copy, we analyze our copy, we go into our studio, and we then voice our copy. But it's very easy to lose track of the storyline as we progress. And I want you to really take a look at, the next time you analyze your copy, the evolution of the story as it progresses from one sentence to the next. There's a lot of times that we might say a sentence, and then the next sentence refers to what we just said, or maybe what we said a couple of sentences ago. That can actually determine our point of view. And also, if you don't read ahead enough, you're not really going to know where that point of view should be leading to. And again, that talks about the evolution of the story. So make sure that when you read a sentence, you are processing the storyline from the bigger picture. So step back a little bit and maybe just look at surrounding sentences when you're doing that copy analysis to see if maybe there's a subtle point of view that you can take on as you are telling that story. A lot of times I'll tell people to break down the storyline by doing a quick assessment, looking at the first couple of lines and assuming that's the introduction to the topic, the last couple of lines, which is hopefully the conclusion of the topic and or the, kind of the tagline. And then in between is the evolution of the story. And then you want to go even deeper by, again, looking at those sentences, the sentence right before the sentence and the sentence right after, to see if there's maybe a new paragraph or a new thought or a new point of view that can come along. Because really, it's all about that frosting on the cake, that point of view. And if you can understand where that point of view is headed, you're going to be able to tell a much better story. So after you've looked at the sentence before and the sentence after, step back even further to look at more of the surrounding sentences so that you can kind of start to see what I like to call the story arc. And so that will help you to, again, look at the whole piece of copy as the story, and that you're able to evolve that story to kind of know if there's a setup for something that's coming along later on in the copy. And then, of course, after you arrive at that point, that might be one of the most key elements of the story, that you can kind of slow down so that your listener really gets that point as being the central point of the story. And then, of course, the payoff, right? Which is also, this is what we're really trying to evolve to when telling our story or making a sale. There's a payoff as to why you want to get to the end of the story, or you want to understand everything that's been delivered to you so far, because this is how it's going to pay off to the listener. And for the listener, that is the biggest benefit to them, the payoff. And that's usually something when I choose to spend my time listening to someone telling me something or delivering information, it's all about what is in it for me, right? What is in it for me? How is this going to benefit me? And that, of course, is the ultimate in the sell in your piece of copy and or the benefit or the emotional payoff. So again, taking a look at the sentences before and after the sentence to see how there's a nuance point of view that evolves, and then stepping back even further so that you can get an idea as to what the story arc is. And that way you know, okay, I'm setting up for this particular event, or I'm setting up for this particular point that I'm going to make. Ultimately, there will be a call to action and then the payoff in the end. And the evolution of your point of view and the frosting, I like to call it, on your storytelling, then the evolution of your storytelling will make it a complete story, one that benefits the listener and one that the listener can emotionally connect to and resonate with. For more performance tips, make sure to check out my videos here. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.